Good evening and wish you a very happy Holi. How was it? Good?
Yes, ma'am, it was good.
All right, super. So this is the first session on organization development, OD. Now, so a few ground rules so that we can make it very fruitful for all of us. Um, it has to be participative, okay? Now, can anyone tell me what do you understand by OD? Now, when we say OD, which has become so much of a buzzword today, and since we don't have OD as a subject in MILS, I thought let's understand a bit about what organization development is all about. What do you people understand by organization development? Anyone? Anyone? No? All right. So I hope you have a book and pen and you are making notes. All right. So organization development, basically, it consists of a lot of interventions. You will be hearing this word interventions. So what does interventions mean? When you are doing something and you intervene. Intervene means you introduce something. It's called intervention. People, I really request you to come on camera. Okay. So when you intervene or you introduce some method or something, it is called intervention. So organization development basically consists of a lot of interventions, intervention techniques, theories, principles, and values, which will help us professionals to implement planned change in order to get a success in the organization. Now, before I even go to the definition of OD, it's very important to understand it is not ad hoc change. It doesn't happen on its own. There are some theories, some principles you learn, you introduce them in an organization so that the organization processes, people, the system becomes very, very effective. And why does an organization need to become effective? Because why does an organization need to be effective? Sahil, why does an organization need to be effective? You're on mute.
Yeah, ma'am. I guess my answer would be like organization need to be developed in such a way so that employees should feel like a home in a such a way.
Correct.
And
Okay. Yeah.
and I feel that when we talk about the organization development, it's not about only the employees and employers. It's about the culture you build. I feel that.
Absolutely right. Purva, what do you have to say? Purva, where are you? Yeah, Purva, what do you
Uh,
have to say?
Ma'am, I think organizational development is most about increasing productivity and handling relationships at the organization in a professional manner.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now let's start with the first thing about why do we need to study organization development. So let's start with that. So, Divya, Divya, are you there? Swati?
Yeah, hello ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, but can you come on camera, please, Divya? Or Divya, please come on
Swati, Swati.
camera. Swati, this question is for you. What do you feel is a reason why we should study organization development?
Ma'am, I think as an HR professionals, we will be responsible for our organizational development, like building a culture, building system, building processes. So it is important for us to learn this concept.
Mm-hmm. All right, Divya, I come to you. What do you feel is the reason why we should study organizational development? Divya, you're on mute. All right, let's have,
Hello,
yes, Divya.
ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, but I can't see you.
Hello. Yes, ma'am, there is a network issue at my side. Ma'am, I think organizational development is needed to improvement in its strategic plan also from time to time in changes in the technologies also. Also in business plans, we have to improve the year by year revenue also. That's need related to organization development. Hello,
Okay,
am
all
I
right.
audible?
Kritika, would you want to say why organization development is becoming so popular? Why do we need to study organization development?
Ma'am, I feel that organization development is becoming extremely popular because this is an era of change right now. The cultures are changing, the strategies that the companies are implementing are changing, and organization development can enhance various aspects of an organization, such as its structure, its process, its people. It inculcates positive environment, it improves productivity and employee development to adapt to changes. This is everything that organization development consists of. So that is why it is extremely important.
All right. So you may just make a note of it. One thing is, the first thing is it's very practical. Okay. It may not be very easy to implement, but it is very, very practical. And OD interventions actually work. Okay. It's practical, it works. Now, depending on the kind of intervention you're doing, the kind of change you're expecting, the time might vary. The second reason is, in today's scenario, in today's business scenario, where nothing is predictable because of the VUCA world, and also the fact that organizations are facing various challenges, all the more reason why OD as a concept is growing. Okay. It is really becoming very popular. It is growing. So this is another reason why the study of OD will help students. The third reason is OD offers a variety of methods. It's not just one. You have a palette of various methods. So it offers a variety of methods to strengthen the human side of organizations. All right? To strengthen the human side of organizations so that both the individuals as well as the organization benefits. All right? And another reason could be OD can be really used as a very critical managerial tool to bring about effectiveness in an organization. All right? Now let's understand what, even before I get into so let's understand what exactly is OD in terms of the definition. So I'll give you the definition and you can write it down. This definition is one of the most popular definitions in OD literature. So organization development is an effort. Okay, people, please come on camera. Organization development is an effort planned organization-wide. Let's write down the definition and then I will explain. And manage from the top. and managed from the top to increase organization effectiveness. To increase organization effectiveness. So let me just share the definition with you. Just a minute. Yeah. So it's an effort planned organization wide and managed from the top to increase organization effectiveness and health through planned interventions in the organization's processes using behavioral science knowledge. Now, this entire definition is very, very important. Every word is very important. So the first thing is it's an effort, meaning you are putting in some effort, which is planned. It is not ad hoc. You plan, okay, which method to use, which tool to use, what is going to add value, etc. Second aspect is organization wide. And this is very important to understand that in an OD intervention, you cannot just say, okay, I will do it only for the senior management, or I'll do it only for the workers. I will not do it for mid management, or I will not do it at all levels. And this is one of the biggest mistake that happens when we talk about OD interventions, because it's not planned organization wide and managed from the top. Meaning, in any organization, OD interventions will not be successful unless and until you have the support of your leadership team. Because sometimes it can be expensive. It's got to do with the strategy and the culture. It might take time. So you need to have a buy-in and support from all key stakeholders in the organization. That is very, very important. Okay. Now, why do we do this? To increase organization effectiveness. So that every process, people, whether you're talking about people systems, you're talking about processes, you're talking about technology, you're talking about any other process in an organization, it becomes effective. And also, we're talking about the health of an organization through planned interventions. So, like I said, you're going to introduce interventions and you're going to do it in a planned manner. Where are you going to do it? In the organization processes. And what is the major tool that you're going to be using? You're going to be using the knowledge of behavioral sciences. Okay? Right. All right. Now I'm going to be putting you into a little breakout rooms. So can you come on camera, everyone? So now what people, everyone, are you there? Okay, now what we are going to discuss is, if this is the definition of organization development, what do you think would some of the OD values be? And people, please do not use your mobile phone or Google. I will be putting you into groups. Let me see how many are we, and then we will discuss this. I'll give you about 5 minutes to discuss. What do you think are some of the values of OD? Meaning, if I am a OD practitioner and I am in a client space, or if I am a OD practitioner and I am in my organization doing some OD intervention, what are some of the most important values that I must demonstrate as a OD consultant? All right. So let's understand and discuss this.
Yes, good, ma'am.
All right.
It was nice, ma'am.
Okay. So group number 1, anyone, you all could just quickly tell me, one of you could just tell us through the values that you all came up with.
Okay, ma'am. So I was from group one, and my colleagues were Gauri, Dhananjay, and Shiv Prasad. So as you guided, we jot down the points. So here are, I'll just read it out. Process oriented, analytical, empathetic, inclusive, collaborative, ethical, and transparent, systematic thinker, adaptable and resilient, change catalyst, people centric, innovative, growth mindset, active listener, problem solver, practical, data driven decision maker, and influential.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. That's a big list. Thank you. Group 2, room number 2. Whoever can, please come on camera, please.
Shivam.
Okay. So, ma'am, I will just read out. In terms of ma'am, teammate, I, Shehbaz, and Swati was there, Divya was there, Chaitali was there, and Aditya was there. We came to a conclusion in terms of values, having an integrity, having transparency, having an unbiased approach. It means that having an unbiased approach to all across the levels and including the gender ratio which is there, then having a rational approach towards the decision making, having an ethical approach, then being flexible or being open to the suggestions of people, having a professional approach to each and everyone in the team, then being people first approach, making sure that whatever the strategies are, having or planning into be or the interventions which are being in coming into the organization from us should have a people first approach, and being and having being emotional intelligence or having an emotional intelligence. These are the part, ma'am, which we have mentioned here.
Thank you. Room number 3.
Hello, ma'am. In my team, there were Samiksha, Shreyas Wag, Vivek Pawar, and Abhishek Awad and me. And we jotted down some points which include the rational mindset, then being helpful, being open, being non judgmental towards all the participants, then having empathy, integrity, then maintaining the confidentiality, adaptable to all the situations which may come in the organization, then the collaborative approach, goal orientation, influential skills, and accountability to which kind of activity or intervention we are using for the organization. That's all.
Thank you. Room number 4.
Hello, ma'am. I had my teammates were Mohit, Shivam, and Akshita. What we discussed was the first point being transparency. It is like one of the most important
Can I
things.
see you, Ishita?
Ma'am, my video is not turning out. I'll just do it next time.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Second point is collaborative approach. Like everyone should come together and do stuff. Then there's a third point is ethical and professional integrity. Another one is empathetic and active listening. Then there's sense of responsibility and accountability that one should have for development of the whole organization. And last one is individual employee career development or basically employee upskilling that also leads to organizational development. These are the few points that we discussed.
Okay. Thank you. Room number 5.
Hello, my name is Kritika, and my team members were Om, Aniruddha, Umang, and Mrunmay. First, I would say why values are important to lay the foundation for transformation and better facilitation of development of the organization. And the values that we discussed were trust, For change to convince the employees, there should be transparency in between them, and that is built by trust. One should have scholastic approach uh, to the crux of everything. There should be empathy and respect because the organization is of humans, and you need to respect them and to be empathetic towards your approach towards them. Then you have ethics, especially upholding the values and the ethics of the organization to maintain the authenticity. Then we have relationship approach, a collaborative approach to facilitate cooperation and partnership in between the client and the OD practitioner. Then we have adaptability and innovation. We have resilience. It's very hard to implement the strategies that you're developing. So you need to have a resilient approach towards it. And then we have accountability for your work. And then we have, in the end, a team-driven approach. So one should have the approach to take responsibility and think of their team first, and should have an empowering nature towards their team. So those are the ones that we discussed.
All right. Okay. So so how did the discussions go for you? How was the process?
It was mind scratching, ma'am.
Mind scratching.
Yes.
What do you mean? So what did you do? You all were in a room together.
Yes.
And what is that? Collaborative, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's a very important value. So you may want to make a note of all the OD values. Some of them are humanistic. It's very important to have a humanistic approach. Don't look at a system just like a system, because human beings are a part of a system. And you need to value people for who they are. And when you say humanistic, it would mean I hear a human being, the value, the conversations I have, I hear what the person says. Just because a person is a human being, and I don't let designations and hierarchy come in the middle. All right. So it's a very humanistic approach. Another value, OD value, is being you have to be a very scientist. You have to operate like a scientific researcher who looks at data in a very analytical, rational manner, without bias, without the influence of emotions. The third OD value is actionability, meaning it's very important to demonstrate what you do via actions. It cannot just be an idea. So actionability is very important. Another OD value is justifiability. You just don't do it because out of a whim and fancy. You do it because you can justify the reasons behind your actions. Why are you doing a particular intervention? Why are you suggesting a certain method? So justifiability is very important. And the next one is social justice, a very important aspect of, again, coming from humanistic value system, is social justice. OD is done to enable social justice in an organization, not because the leaders are telling you to do something. How is the end result of your interventions going to be perceived? Does that amount to being, social justice for the masses, for everyone? Another OD value is recognizing limits, understanding and respecting boundaries. Very important, recognizing limits. Another OD value would be the ability to be to recognize objectivity and independence. Can you look at an event, a finding, the data that's showing up for you in a very objective manner, just as a data, and not attach it to reasons and subjectivity? Okay. So being able to be very objective is a very important OD value. And independence. While you are able to connect dots between as the data shows up, yet the ability to recognize an event or a data that's showing up in a very independent manner is a very important OD value. Another important value is truth telling. Truth telling means the ability to be able to assert and say the truth, the data as it is showing up, and not mince it with words or make it, if a leader needs to be told the culture sucks, the culture in your organization is not conducive, we've got to do something about it. Or if a leader, you're in an organization and you're doing it, and you find that the head of the departments come and tell you, Ma, people can't think. And you realize as a part of your various interventions that the leaders they have a problem with trust. They do not trust that their team members are able to think. You should have the guts to call the shots and tell your leader, well, this is what's come up. So this is called truth telling. Another very important aspect is client autonomy. Okay. And with that comes confidentiality. You will be doing various interventions, meeting, since OD is at all levels, you'll be talking to workers, people in the junior management, mid-management, senior management, different levels, different layers, different locations, departments. The ability to create a safe psychological space so that people feel safe, that whatever they say to you remains confidential, and you will not walk up to the HR, or you will not walk up to the head of the department and tell them that so-and-so employee has said this. So maintaining confidentiality is very, very important. And yes, collaboration. Ensuring that whatever interventions you do, you bring people together in a room and create that container, which is a safe space. Like you make them sit in a circle, create that safe space where people are encouraged to be inclusive in order to be collaborative. Okay. So you ensure that everyone has a voice. Even the people who are shy, not confident, the silent, you create the nudge and include them. And of course, informed consent. You take consent, you inform them, and then you talk about, okay, this is what we are going to do. This is what the impact is going to be. Are you okay with it? That's called informed consent. And most important value of OD is professional development. Why are we doing this? We are doing OD for organization development to enhance effectiveness. So there has to be a sense of professional development. Okay. I'm happy at this point of time. I'm happy to take questions, and I would request everyone to please switch on their cameras. So we've done the definition. We've done a bit about why do you think OD is important? And why should you learn it? And of course, if I have to practice OD, the most important thing is, what are the value systems? Okay. So at this point, I'm happy to take questions. Anything about today that you would like to ask me?
Hello, ma'am. Vivek here. As a budding HR professionals, and we need to become an organizational development consultant. So, what should be our approach in this particular process?
So what do you mean by approach?
Means what needs things we need to carry out in order to become a proficient OD professional.
All right. So one thing is, the first thing is, uh, there's a very important statement in OD. Self is the instrument for change. Okay? Self is the instrument for change. Now, when I say this, the OD consultant, whoever is the OD person, the practitioner, is the instrument through which you are going to bring about change. And that's why a very important aspect to be a good OD consultant is start working on yourself. Now, when I say start working on yourself, what comes up for you? Anything coming up for you, Vivek, when I say you need to start, self is the instrument for change?
The values we had just discussed now. So, I want to inculcate all the values in me so that can I penetrate in the organization where I am going to do OD.
Yeah, and it's a lifelong process, Vivek. You can't say, I will get all the 13 values and then I'll become a OD practitioner. There's something else also because it's along the way,
Yes.
right? The most important thing of self as an instrument for change is working on yourself, becoming aware of, that's called self-awareness. And that's why it's very important to understand what are your personal biases? What are your prejudices? When you are in a group of people, do you look down upon certain people? Do you give everyone a room to speak, or do you dominate a conversation? Are you inclusive in your behavior, in your conversation? If somebody is quiet, do you give that person a nudge? See, these are small, small things that you have to start beginning noticing in yourself. Because awareness creates change. If you're not even aware of yourself, how are you going to bring about change? And it's very important because a OD consultant is like a scientist. So you've got to have a very rational approach. Now, if you are already having some prejudices and a bias inside you, you will not look at the data as it is, perception. You're not going to look at the reality. You're going to look at the data with rose-tinted glasses because you want to see it in a certain manner. And that's why OD is like an onion. You have to start peeling out the layers. All right. So that's a good question, Vivek. Thank you for asking. And from today onwards, you should start investing some time in spending at least 10 to 15 minutes with yourself and start journaling. Now, journaling is not like a to-do list. You can pick up any book and make this habit as a journal. Like, okay, what made me happy today? Or when do I feel anxious? Or how was my day? What made me angry? Start understanding your trigger points. Because if you don't start working on yourself, you can have all the knowledge in the world. You can acquire the skill sets. You can read all the books in OD. But when you go out into the field and start practicing, you are going to miss out capturing data. because the OD person has to be a very, very neutral person and be present in the here and now. Don't get influenced by past incidences or future inhibitions or fears, but just be at that moment. What is the data? Kya ho raha hai? And pick up that. And for that, you've got to start working on yourself. Okay, I hope I have answered your question, Vivek.
Yes, ma'am.
And these are some things that you start practicing to make yourself equipped along with the skills and knowledge. Any other
Sure.
question?
Ma'am, if I may ask,
Yes, Shiva, please go ahead.
ma'am, when it's come to having this set of values, this set of values gets into the profile of HR as well. This set of values get, even if you go into sub functions of HR as like organization development, even if you are into analytics team as a HR analytics person, you will be having somewhat similar approach also, because you will be having
Absolutely.
implementation of data also. But ma'am, when it's come to if you're from client side or are not part of an organization, and you being a OD consultant, you can say truth as easily as possible to the
Absolutely.
person you are conveying it. But when you are in the organization, what happens? You cannot say that this is not functioning so openly and so
Yeah.
easily. You
Yeah.
have to be calm it down or be a diplomat at some time. And knowingly, unknowingly, you are into a role of OD. Even if you are into HR or even if you are into another profile, you would be applying the principles of OD in every other way. Now, ma'am, my question is only about the truth part. How should we need to be when we are working into organization? Taper it down, mild it down, and be diplomat if required, or we can easily be truth because people don't accept truth very easily if it against them.
So typically, Shivam, in any, whether it's small scale or large scale OD interventions, you usually get in an outside OD consultant
Okay.
who can be neutral.
Got
All right.
got
Internal people can become a great support system to the OD consultant, and you
got
learn the process in the way,
got it.
right?
Got it.
Yet I feel, if you truth telling is not about manipulating the data so that it
Hmm.
becomes acceptable. It is about presenting the data in a manner with facts and figures that it can be seen
Got it.
and received. I do acknowledge that internal OD people do have a problem, especially when you're doing certain interventions like culture. It will
Fair.
become a little difficult. And that's why you really get in outside consultants, because even employees will find it safer to talk to an outside person, because if
Hmm.
an HR person is in the room, they'll suddenly wonder, they'll tie it up with appraisals, they'll tie it up with their learning journeys. They will not feel safe that the data that they say is confidential. And it's a very practical issue, what you talked about. People, can you be on cameras for the next 5 minutes, please? Yes, I'm happy to take any other questions. Thank you for asking me the question.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, anyone else? Any questions? So no questions? Do we close it for today? Till next Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, super. So next Friday, please read up, if possible, a little bit about the history of OD. And then we will also move into self as an instrument of change. Okay?